Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Welcome to part 3 of my 1996 Craftsman Lt1000 42 Hydro. So far I've fixed this wheel. I put some Fix-A-Flat in there and it pumps up and holds air now, which is good. I changed the Magneto on here with an older Magneto. Still don't know if it works because I don't have a starter to try, you know. But the old one had the ignition coil wire compromised because rats had chewed it up. There was still some strands attached, but you know you're not going to get a good spark from there. I'm not 100% sure if this thing works. It's from my bag of parts, but I took it off a bunch of tractors, so it could work. We'll try when we get the starter and the carburetor. It should be coming in a couple of days for the carburetor, a couple of days for the starter. In the meantime, I had a chance to, as you saw, I removed both solenoids. The one on the top was from a Ford. One on the bottom was probably the original one. If it wasn't the original one, it was direct replacement. It's your universal 4-post solenoid. I put it on and mounted it to the wall. In the meantime, I found out that there was 3 kill switches. The one for the brake, believe it or not, is actually not located in this area, but rather in the middle of the tractor is where the brake kill switch is. I haven't been able to locate it yet. The seat kill switch is trash too, and another kill switch would be the PTO one, which is right there. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bypass all the switches by completely rewiring the entire ignition directly to the items. All we basically need is, you got the power wire, which is the red one right there, the white one, which I believe is the solenoid wire. It once you turn the start switch, it taps into the hot current, sends a signal to the solenoid, right? Sends that thing that goes click up here and connects these two, which is the lead power wire to the starter wire, and that's how the starter gets the charge to start. The only other thing I have to worry about is the stator wire. This one's negative ground. This one is the AC current that comes out of the stator. The power that's generated from the stator. It goes into what you guys can see underneath this sheathing here is a diode. What the diode does is that it's there in place of a voltage regulator, and so while this one may give off maybe 20 or 25 volts of AC current, alternating current, this diode converts it to 12 volt DC current. So that goes into here, and supposedly this red wire should connect directly to the battery, but I don't know where it goes. It goes like throughout a whole bunch of other stuff, passing kill switch wires and all that stuff. So basically, I'm just going to find out what the schematics are for that switch. You know, whether it's S, M, L, Y, A. You know, there's all kinds of different ones. Like for instance, S would be to the solenoid, right? B would be the battery, G would be ground, R, I've heard of it being probably, R or Y is the stator or alternator, whatever you call it. But I'll have to figure that out through the schematics to find to see whether or not this switch works. But I don't really think the switch works because this white one I know is the solenoid, the red is power, and I do get power. But when I turn this thing, right, I get no current. I get no current to this wire to charge. Not to charge, to send a signal to the trigger, to the solenoid, to make it start. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to locate the vital ones that I need, which is the red wire for power, battery, the white wire, which is solenoid. I need a wire that leads to where the stator is charging the battery. Actually, technically I can just take this red wire and connect it directly to this part of the solenoid, which connects straight to the battery. I can do that, you know. Okay. This is the kill wire to the Magneto. This wire is going to be attached to the M version of the M labeling of that prong, which is the Magneto. And basically, when you shut it off, it grounds the M, which in turn will shut off the machine. Then there's, let's see, Magneto, right? Stator. Solenoid to the starter. Power, basically that's it, Then there's lights. I know this thing does have lights. So one of them is going to go to the light thing. So basically all I need is 5. So as you can see from here, there's a lot more than 5 here. The black ones over here, I believe, lead to the 3 kill switches. The PTO kill, the brake kill, and the seat kill. So I'm just going to bypass all that. Take all the black ones out. And I'm just going to apply it directly right to that switch. That's called hardwiring. I hate electrical, guys, but I'm telling you, all this spaghetti, it means something, And if this wasn't your original tractor and you don't know what you did to it, and you could tell from when I got this, somebody jigged it to their own liking, I mean, there are wires here that have been cut and then put back on. I don't know where they got it from, So the only way I can do this to get this engine started is to wire it, hardwire it myself to the engine. I've done it a few times before, and it works great because I hate having the switches, the brake switch, the PTO switch, and the seat switch. If it doesn't start, it's one of those damn kill switches, Pain in the balls. Oh, anyway, so I also straightened out the steering, too. After a few days of, soaking it, it's still a little stiff, but, managed to get the wheels turning. There you go. See? Steering wheel's turning. Motor's free. Deck is out. Wiring we have to worry about. Carburetor's yet to come. Starter's yet to come. Transmission, we still don't even know if it works yet. Tires all hold air, but you turn this with your hand. The other one goes the other side, which is supposed to happen that way. It still is locked up when this is on the ground. I cannot freewheel push it, but I find that out from a lot of hydros. That's the way it is, It locks up a lot. But anyway, that's what I've been doing while I've been waiting for parts. In the meantime, I have sold some parts from the disassembled Kohler V-twin that I took out from my DYT 4000. I just sold some stuff for 50 bucks. I sold the intake for 25. Which other stuff? Engine cover, stuff like that. Just sold these exhaust pipes, the exhaust manifold for $22. So it's pretty good. Making some money off of that old engine. Just have to wait for the parts to come. Today I got a sticker from the United Kingdom. My buddy Rich Jackson over at Jacko's Small Engine Repair. He's a really nice guy. Really nice guy. I'm putting you on top, baby. On the Mowers and Blowers Wall of Fame. Go check out Jacko's Small Engine Repair on YouTube and Instagram. He's a good man. Thanks, Rich, for the sticker. So right now I'm going to straighten out all this spaghetti over here. I'm going to hardwire all the major components that allow this thing to run directly to the ignition switch, and we'll find out whether or not that switch is good or bad. First thing I'm going to do is create a good ground. We don't seem to have a good ground around here. So I've connected this test light thing to the power. I'm going to look at this bolt right there. So that's a good ground right there. This bolt's not being used for anything. So I'm going to use this at the main ground. It's right here in the center of the tractor. It's a heavy duty bolt. Actually, that bolt wasn't very good. It was holding the guide, and it didn't want to move it. So this one over here is good. Just got to make sure the ground is a good connection. Clean that up. So we got a good ground. That's the first step. I've surmised that ignition switch is busted, which is probably why they put that push button in there. So that's busted. I actually had a extra ignition switch. Obviously this one is different from the stock one because the hole is so much smaller. You wouldn't be able to get this entire module in there. But I'm just using this to test, and basically I just removed all the wires from the original harness module right here, and basically just take a small little screwdriver and stick it in here to push the pin up, and you can remove these tabs. Obviously it's a little precarious there because if they touch each other you could short out something, but they, you know, if you put it in carefully, and then I'll wrap it up with electrical tape. Looks like I got this thing figured out. Without me electrocuting myself, I'm going to turn the key. We'll see if it starts. Not starts, but you know, if that light blinks, it means that the solenoid is sending a signal to the starter. There you go. See? So now I can start it with a key. As for the other ones, I'm not 100% sure which one was the stator wire going in there. I've got some kind of short going on over here. I gotta pull this stuff out. You know what? I think that's a stator wire. Well, that was less than ideal. So I just got the two hooked up now. Okay, so that's the battery power and the solenoid wire going to the solenoid. So now we know it can start this way. So I'll just keep that as it is until I get my starter, and we can work out all the other wires later on when I figure it out. I just hope I didn't fry my stator now, you know. So when my starter comes, I'll hook everything up, see if everything works. If it does, I'm going to order a replacement ignition switch. That's just temporary for testing. In the meantime, I pulled out all the wiring underneath the tractor for the kill switches. Stay tuned for part 4 of my LT1000 Craftsman fix. I'll be tackling the carburetor as well as the starter install. Thanks for watching, everybody. Follow me on Instagram at mowersblowers.